If your coin total is mudded after Team of the Year and you want to get some back, make sure you check out MMOXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get 5% off all your orders. This supports the channel greatly, and I do very much appreciate it. So what's up guys, my name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video guys, I've got some updated 4-2-3-1 custom tactics and player instructions. I've been playing around with them a bit after the patch and honestly the game doesn't feel too different, but yeah. But just before we get into today's video guys, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop this video a thumbs up, as that does really help with the YouTube search algorithm. Also subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And as always guys, if you do need those cheap FIFA coins, make sure you check the link out in the description and use my code REMA for 5% off your order. Okay guys, so starting off with the custom tactics, for the defensive style I like to use balance. This is just because it gives me the greatest control when I am defending, so I'm able to press my opponent when I need to, and I'm able to drop off and be more conservative when I need to be. So having it on balance does give me greater control. A lot of people do like to use these pressure tactics, but I do suggest getting used to balance if you can, because it is the best. But if you feel more comfortable using pressure tactics, then go right ahead. Now for the defensive width guys, I actually have this on 38 at the moment. The reason for this is FIFA 23 is obviously quite a narrow game, so it's important we cover those central areas. People do like to go for those cutbacks, but that is irrelevant to what your width is. They will always find a way to do them, so it's better to primarily defend narrowly to stop the passes through the middle. Now for depth guys, I actually have this on 72. The reason I have it on 72 is because we get the automatic offside trap, so our defensive line quite often catches out those opponents that are constantly trying to do those through balls, and a lot of the time it's very easy to snatch the ball back and you know, start quick attacks because your opponent starts to panic and rush. I've noticed sometimes when you don't have the automatic offside trap, your defensive line's a little bit broken, where you've got one player sitting deeper than the others, playing them all on side. It's a little bit weird, so I do like using 72 depth for that reason, because it feels like we keep a better defensive line. That being said, if you want to lower your depth, that is absolutely fine. Now for build-up play guys, I do suggest using balanced. I do sometimes use fast build-up, but honestly it's a little bit inconsistent with the way FIFA 23 is. You know, there's so many different types of gameplay you can experience, so to suit most types of gameplay you can get, whether it be fast, slow, heavy, balanced is the best because it just seems to be the most consistent. Fast build-up when you've got laggy gameplay is pretty horrible because your players are moving too quick to the point where you actually can't pass the ball because of the lag. Moving on to chance creation guys, as always I suggest direct passing. The reason I suggest direct passing is because if you look at the diagram in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you can see how the white dots, which are your attackers, they're constantly moving around in a dynamic motion to break through that defensive line, so it's very easy to create chances. If you look at something like balance, they're very static, and you can see the defense always keeps its shape. It's not really bothered, so it can be very difficult to create any chances at all. So direct passing, super important guys. Now for the attacking width, I actually have this just on 40. The reason for this is I had it on like 35, 37 the other day, and I noticed it just felt a little bit too narrow, to the point where the wide cams were coming too narrow, too central, and it was actually difficult to actually create a chance. So I've been using this on 40, and the wide cams keep a bit more of a natural position, which is very nice. So the formation does feel like it has a bit more balance in the width sense. Now moving on to players in box, I've currently just been using this on 6. A lot of the time I'll just have this on 5, but I noticed I wasn't getting enough chances, so I just upped this by 1, so we got the extra player in the box, and honestly I've been finding it a lot easier to score chances because of that extra man in the box. So yeah, I've been really enjoying having players in box on 6, but it is down to preference. As for corners and free kicks, I just have this on 1 because I don't really cross in set pieces anymore. I just take them short. A lot of people have been asking about a corner tutorial, and I posted a short about that yesterday, so be sure to check that out if you guys are interested. Now moving on to the players you want to use guys, because this is a one striker formation, in the striker position you kind of want to go for a nice well-rounded striker. Somebody that can shoot on either foot with like the 5-star weak foot is perfect, somebody with good shooting stats of course, somebody with decent dribbling so they can hold up the ball, even somebody with good passing to help link up the play a little bit. You want a very well-rounded striker because you can't kind of have to compensate for the fact that there is only one striker instead of two. That being said, however, if you just want to use a lengthy player like Haaland, for example, because you feel more comfortable, that is absolutely fine. Now, moving on to the central cam, guys, I suggest a technical player, someone that can pass, shoot, dribble, basically somebody that can do a bit of everything in attack, because they're like your main playmaker in the formation, them being the central player. They often have to spray passes to the striker, to the right cam, to the left cam, to the CDMs, you know, they're like pretty much your central source of attack. So it's important that you use a competent player in this position. So just go for somebody that you feel is very good in the cam position. As for the left cam and right cam, I just suggest using winger style players, because these are like your wide players in the formation. So I'm just using Di Maria and Jairzinho because they've got the 5-star skills, they've got the pace, they've got the dribbling, and they've even got like the shooting and the crossing, which is super good in this position. So just go for like nice winger styles in the right cam and left cam spot. For the left CDM, I suggest using a more defensive player. So I'm using the new flashback Jorginho. The ideal work rate is a medium high, which this player has, so he's perfect for my team. And you just need them to have very good defensive stats, because they are going to sit back and they are going to defend. So medium high work rate, super recommended, but not an absolute necessity if you can't get it. Just go for a very defensive player. For the right CDM, guys, I suggest a box-to-box player. So I'm using the flashback Pogba. You want somebody with very well-rounded stats, somebody that can attack and defend, and ideally you want somebody with a high work rate, so you get the maximum contribution in attack and defense. For example, this Pogba is a high medium, but it's not that important. I'm just saying the high work rate is the one that I would recommend if you can get it. As for the fullbacks, I like to go for a bit of a balance between the two. So I have Roberto Carlos, who is my more attacking fullback, and I have Cafu, who is my more defensive fullback. So yeah, I just like to go for a bit of a balance between these two. But if you want to use two defensive players or two attacking players, that is completely up to you. As for the centre backs and goalkeeper, these just need to be as good as you can get them, and I'm still using Chesney for chemistry. This guy just won't go away. Now for player instructions, guys, I actually have tweaked these a little bit because I wasn't satisfied with how I was creating chances and my overall game. So on my striker, I've actually got stay central and getting behind. Stay central is the same because we don't want this player drifting off to the wings. We need him in those central areas because he is our only striker, so we do need him to be there to finish off the chances. Now I used to have him on mixed attack, but I noticed I wasn't getting good enough runs out of him. He wasn't moving enough, so I've put him on getting behind just so I feel like I get more movement out of Robbie Keane. And when I want to play the ball short to him, I'll just tap R1 so he will come short and I can make that pass. So I just get a bit of like more movement out of my player when I put him on getting behind, so that's why I've changed it to that. For the central cam, guys, I just have him on stay forward. This is just so he sits in a more, he just sits in a better position when you're defending, basically. Sometimes when you have them on like basic defensive support, they come back too deep, so if you win the ball back, there's not really an outlet to get the ball up the pitch. Like obviously you've got your striker, but you've got no one to pass the ball to, like you've got no one that will pass the ball to the striker, if you get what I'm saying. There's no transition from defense to attack. So I have this player on stay forward, so he sits behind Robbie Keane, and when we win the ball back, we can pass to Chiesa and then maybe to Keane or to the wide cams that are coming up. So just makes it a bit easier in transition for me. As for the wide cams, I just suggest having them both on get into the box for cross. The reason for this is it makes them make those transitional runs that they wouldn't do if they were on balanced crossing runs. So get into the box for cross is super important because it means they will actually make those runs into the penalty box. It doesn't mean you have to pass, like cross the ball to them. It just means they will make those runs so they do get involved. Otherwise, they're a little bit conservative. They're almost like passengers when you are attacking. For the left CDM, guys, the more defensive one, I suggest stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes, and cover center. This is just because it's the most defensive settings you can put on this player. So stay back while attacking obviously means he's going to sit back. He's not going to get involved in the attack because we don't need him to. And if we do want to attack with him, obviously we can just send him forward manually. We have him on cut passing lane, so he's always there to break up the play, and it can quite often start quick counter attacks, which is super nice. And we have him on cover center because it's important he covers those central areas. We don't need any more like players covering the wing because, for example, on the left side we've already got Roberto Carlos and Di Maria. We need somebody to cover the central areas to give the centre backs a bit of a break. So yeah, cover center, cut passing lane, stay back while attacking. For the right CDM, the more box-to-box style player. We just have him on cover center, and everything else is on completely default settings. Cover center is important again because we don't need this player to cover the wings. We need him to cover that central area because we've already got 2 wide players. So cover center, super important. And we leave everything else alone, especially balanced attack, because this player is going to attack and defend as our box-to-box player to help transition from defense to attack. So it works super nice, guys. This is why I said the high work rate is super good if you can get it. Now for my left back, the one that I said is my more attacking fullback, I have him on balanced attack and overlap. The reason for this is sometimes with this formation it can be a little bit narrow, so it's nice to have a bit of assistance from one of the fullbacks to add width. So we have balanced attack and we have overlap, so he always makes those overlapping runs to add width to the team. This gives us wider options as well as the formation being narrow, meaning it's very difficult to defend. So it's super effective to have one of the fullbacks on balanced attack and overlap. Now for my more defensive fullback, I have stay back while attacking and overlap. We have stay back while attacking, so we always at least have 3 at the back when we are defending, as well as the CDM, so it makes it defensively solid. And we have him on overlap because let's say I do trigger a run forward with him with L1, it means he will make those overlapping runs to add width, because we're not really interested on the inverted runs at all. So yeah, basically that is it for the fullbacks. As for the centre backs, I don't touch them, and for the goalkeeper I just put comms for crosses and sweeper keeper. But yeah, they are my custom tactics and player instructions for the 4-2-3-1. If you guys have enjoyed or found this useful, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And also guys, if you do want those FIFA coins, make sure you check out the link in the description and use my code Rema for 5% off. And yeah, that's everything guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.